Okay. So you can see me okay?
Yeah.
And I want you to start tapping. And just explain to me what's been going on for you in the last week or so.
Well, it's probably more than a week, but I've just been having, what kind of started when I wake up with Naomi, we do a thing where we tell each other our dreams that we had. And the dreams that I were having were kind of consistently just violent and horrific. And she just said there's something in you that's dark and messed up, and it kind of went on for a few months, and she's encouraged me to go and see someone about it.
Yep.
And I guess intuitively I knew that it was to do with something that happened a long time ago in the army. Like
right.
There was an incident, a violent incident, and so I contacted the Department of Veterans Affairs and asked to get some counselling sessions, and which a bit of toing and froing, but eventually they agreed to. And so I went to my first one I was a bit over a week ago, and recalled this incident. Like I could still remember it, but I'd never told anyone about it.
Okay, so when you think about this incident now, can you give it a name? Like a movie title? Like you've studied with me for a start, so you know about EFT and the movie technique.
Yeah.
So I want you to just give it a movie title, this incident.
Yeah. Do I have to tell you the title straight away?
You don't have to. No, you don't have to. So you've got that movie title in your head.
Yeah.
And when you tune into that movie title, what out of 10 do you give that as a SUDS level?
As how intense it is?
Yes.
10 out of 10 easily.
Okay, and where are you feeling that in your body?
My chest, I guess.
All right, so let's just start with that. Even though I've got this 10 out of 10 movie title.
Even though I've got this 10 out of 10 movie title.
This event that I can remember.
This event that I can remember.
And I'd hardly spoken about it before.
I've only ever told one person about it before, and that was about a week ago.
Yeah, and I can really feel it still present in my chest.
Yeah, I can really feel it present in my chest.
I accept myself.
I accept myself.
And the way my body's held on to this to protect me.
And the way my body's held on to this to protect me.
And I'm willing to process and release it now.
I'm willing to process and release it now.
Yeah, this 10 out of 10 feeling in my chest.
This 10 out of 10 feeling in my chest.
When I remember this movie title.
When I remember this movie title.
This 10 out of 10 feeling in my chest.
This 10 out of 10 feeling in my chest.
When I remember this incident.
When I remember this incident.
This movie title.
This movie title.
I've only spoken about it once, about a week ago.
I only ever told one person about it a week ago.
And it's brought up all this feeling in my chest.
It's brought up all this feeling in my chest.
So just explain that feeling in your chest a little bit more. What's that feeling like?
Like a panic. Like I'm going to run out of air. That I might die here.
Okay, so that panic in my chest.
That panic in my chest.
That feeling like I might die.
That feeling like I might die.
It's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe.
All that panic in my chest.
All that panic in my chest.
When I remember this movie title.
When I remember this movie title.
I've only spoken to one person about it.
I've only spoken to one person about it.
About a week ago.
About a week ago.
And I can feel all this panic in my chest.
I can feel all this panic in my chest.
It's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe.
I feel like I'm going to die.
I feel like I could die.
But I'm sitting here quite safe.
But I'm sitting here quite safe.
In this room.
In this room.
Talking to the laptop.
Talking to the computer screen over the internet.
And I'm quite safe.
I'm quite safe.
And I want to process and release this feeling in my chest.
I want to process and release this feeling in my chest.
It serves me no good anymore.
It serves me no good anymore.
Just like letting air out of a balloon,
Just like letting air out of a balloon,
I release all this heaviness in my chest.
I release all this heaviness in my chest.
This feeling like I'm going to die.
This feeling like I'm going to die.
This panic that I can't breathe.
This panic that I can't breathe.
I can breathe right now.
I can breathe right now.
I am safe.
I'm safe.
Even when I remember this incident,
Even when I remember this incident.
this movie title,
This movie title.
I'm safe right here, right now.
I'm safe right here, right now.
As I process and release this heavy feeling in my chest.
So I process and release this heavy feeling in my chest.
This feeling that I'm going to die.
This feeling that I'm going to die.
And it's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe.
I'm safe right here, right now.
I'm safe right here, right now.
So take a deep breath. And do you have some water?
Yep.
Let's have some water. Okay. So when you tune into that movie title that you've got in your head now, and that feeling in your chest, has it gone down a bit?
Yep. A fair bit.
All right. So just tune into it again. And what's it like now? Has it changed? Has it gone down?
Feels more manageable, like about a 5 out of 10 now.
And explain that actual 5 out of 10 feeling. Is it still in your chest or is it anywhere else?
It's kind of risen up a bit to sort of around here.
Yeah.
If I get to tell you about it, it'll make sense.
Yeah, okay. All right, so even though I've got this remaining 5 out of 10 feeling,
Even though I've got this remaining 5 out of 10 feeling,
when I think about this movie title,
when I think about this movie title,
and it's moved higher up into my chest,
it's moved higher up into my chest,
into my lower throat,
into my lower throat.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body is processing and releasing this.
and the way my body is processing and releasing this.
It's been trapped in my body far too long,
It's been trapped in my body far too long.
and I accept myself
I accept myself,
and the way my body's tried to protect me,
the way my body's tried to protect me.
but I'm letting my body know it's time to process and let it go now.
I'm letting my body, it's time to process and let it go now.
Top of the head. This feeling in my lower throat,
This feeling in my lower throat,
my higher chest,
in my higher chest.
out of 10 feeling.
It's 5 out of 10 feeling.
Yeah. My body is processing and releasing it now.
My body's processing and releasing it now.
This feeling in my higher chest,
This feeling in my higher chest.
allowing my body to release it.
Allowing my body to release it.
This feeling that I might die,
This feeling that I might die.
that I can't breathe.
That I can't breathe.
It's safe to release it now.
It's safe to release it now.
And I'm safe now.
And I'm safe now.
And I want to process it and let it go.
And I want to process and let it go.
As I think of this movie title,
As I think of this movie title,
I deserve to have peace in my throat
I deserve to have peace in my throat
and in my chest.
and in my chest.
Even when I think of this movie title,
Even when I think of this movie title,
I want to have peace.
I want to have peace.
I want to release all the remaining feelings in my chest
I want to release all the remaining feelings in my chest
and my lower throat.
and my lower throat.
Even when I think of this movie title,
Even when I think of this movie title,
I'm safe to release it now.
I'm safe to release it now.
Okay, so take a deep breath and have a sip of water. So something's there, coughing and releasing there as we're getting into that. So when you tune into that movie title now, how's it feeling in your lower throat, your higher chest?
Not as intense.
Mm-hmm.
Like,
So what's it?
like a maybe 2 out of 10.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
So is it safe for you to speak out loud that movie title now?
We can try.
Mm-hmm.
I guess I'm a bit hesitant because when I spoke to the psychologist, I just was all quivery and shaky, and
All right. So go to that memory.
Mhm.
Even though I've got that memory,
even though I've got that memory,
when I was at the psychologist,
when I was at the psychologist,
when I spoke out loud the name of that movie,
when I spoke out loud the name of the movie,
and I remember my whole body quivering and shaking,
I remember my whole body quivering and shaking.
I accept myself
I accept myself
and the way my body responded,
and the way my body responded.
and I'm allowing all my reactions to that memory
I'm allowing all my reactions to that memory
to be processed and released now.
to be processed and released now.
I was quivering and shaking when I said it out loud to the psychologist,
I was quivering and shaking when I said it out loud to the psychologist.
and I'm a bit worried it'll happen again.
I'm a bit worried it'll happen again.
But as I imagine saying it out loud,
As I imagine saying it out loud,
I also imagine releasing all the reactions in my body.
I also imagine releasing all the reactions in my body.
As I said, my body peace.
What was that?
As I send my body peace.
As I send my body peace.
My body deserves peace now,
My body deserves peace now.
and I want peace
And I
now.
want peace.
As I release this quivering and shaking feeling,
As I release this quivering and shaking feeling.
when I remember saying out loud the title of that movie,
When I remember saying out loud the title of the movie.
it was only natural, I'd never spoken it before,
It was only natural, I'd never spoken about it before.
and my body was actually releasing some of the trauma
My body was releasing some of the trauma
by shaking and quivering.
by shaking and quivering.
And maybe shaking and quivering isn't so bad,
Maybe shaking and quivering isn't so bad
because it's actually releasing.
because it's actually releasing.
And if there's any remaining shaking and quivering,
If there's any remaining shaking and quivering,
I can just tap while it occurs
I can just tap while it occurs
to enable it to release fully,
to enable it to release fully.
because it doesn't belong trapped in my body.
It doesn't belong trapped in my body.
It's part of the trauma capsule,
It's part of the trauma capsule.
and I want to release it all.
I want to release it all.
Releasing the quivering and shaking feeling
Releasing the quivering and shaking feeling.
as I remember saying out loud to the psychologist the title
So I remember saying out loud to that psychologist the title
of that movie.
of that movie.
So take a deep breath. And if you imagine saying the title of that movie now,
Mm-hmm.
and imagine when you said it to the psychologist, does it have as much fear coming up?
It doesn't seem to. I guess let's give it a go.
All right, so start tapping.
Yeah.
Let's just do a sneaking up round on it.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine saying the title of that movie out loud now.
I can imagine saying the title of the movie out loud now.
And I might quiver and shake a little.
Might quiver and shake a little.
I did when I said it to the psychologist,
I did when I said it to the psychologist.
but I wasn't tapping then.
I wasn't tapping then.
And now I've got tapping.
Now I've got tapping.
So if anything comes up, I can process it and release it.
So if anything comes up, I can process and release it.
So I want to imagine saying it out loud now.
So I want to imagine saying it out loud now.
Imagining saying out loud that movie title
Imagine saying out loud that movie title
and feeling peace in my body.
and feeling peace in my body.
Imagining saying that movie title out loud.
Imagining saying that movie title out loud.
Mm-hmm. So just imagine it in your mind right now, saying it out loud to me.
Mm-hmm.
And how does that feel?
Okay, I think.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Should
So
we
I want
try
you to
it?
tap. Yes. So just say the title of that movie now.
The Night I Got Strangled.
The Night I Got Strangled.
Uh-huh.
So when you say that now, what's coming up?
Nothing.
That's a bit surprising, isn't it?
Yeah.
It can't be that gentle. All right, so I want you to just tune into the that night you got strangled.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and start at a neutral place. So where were you?
Out in the field on an exercise.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
Yeah.
So I was out on the field in an exercise.
I was out in the field on an exercise.
I was out on the field in an exercise.
I was out in the field on an exercise.
What happened next?
I was working with this one other guy who was my detachment commander, and I'd never worked with him before. It was kind of strange that I'd been put with him. It wasn't my regular superior.
Okay. Is anything coming up when you think that? It was kind of strange I was working with him. Okay, next.
And there was only two of us. Normally there's three in a detachment. So for whatever reason there was only two of us.
Yeah.
And we were, we had a vehicle and a Land Rover, and that's covered with a camouflage net. And so that's our little area that we're working under. And that's just the two of us. And so we're working out of this vehicle that's got radios in it.
Yeah.
So that was our job, to man these radios 24 hours a day, and there's just two of us, so it was like a rotating shift sort of a thing.
Okay, and how long had you been there?
I don't know, maybe a day or two.
Mm-hmm.
I think we'd moved from somewhere else. That was that was the whole idea, to pull this setup down and move it to somewhere else and set it up again, and you stay for a day or two, and that's the exercise. And, and it might have been the first night they were in this new place. And I think so. And I was in, it was my turn to sleep, so I was in my little sleeping bag under this camouflage net next to this Land Rover. And I think I must have been asleep, and then I woke up to this guy's hands around my throat.
Okay, and what's coming up for you now when you feel that?
Like shock.
Yeah, okay, so let's go with that to the karate chop point. I remember waking up with these guys' hands around my throat.
I remember waking up with this guy's hands around my throat.
I woke up to this guy's hands around my throat.
I woke up to this guy's hands around my throat.
I'm safe now.
I'm safe now.
But I've got this memory of waking up with this guy's hands around my throat.
Got this memory of waking up with this guy's hands around my throat.
And all my reactions.
And all my reactions.
And all that shock.
All that shock.
Feeling like I'm going to die.
Feeling like I'm going to die.
Like it's hard to breathe.
It's hard to breathe.
Feeling strangled.
Feeling strangled.
I can still feel his hands around my neck.
I can still feel his hands around my neck.
I want to process and let this go.
I want to process and let this go.
It doesn't belong trapped in my body.
It doesn't belong trapped in my body.
I can still feel his hands around my neck.
I can still feel his hands around my neck.
I was peacefully asleep.
I was peacefully asleep.
I woke in shock.
Woke in shock.
My body was shocked.
My body was shocked.
And it held on to this feeling.
It held on to this feeling.
In a trauma capsule.
In a trauma capsule.
That shock, fright and flight feeling.
That, well, it was...
Freeze.
It was freeze, yeah.
Yeah, that freeze feeling.
The freeze feeling.
That freeze feeling still trapped in my body.
That freeze feeling still trapped in my body.
I want to release it and let it go.
I want to release it and let it go.
I want to step back in time.
I want to step back in time.
As I imagine stepping back to that time.
Imagine stepping back to that time.
When I was waking up.
When I was waking up.
With that guy's hands around my throat.
With that guy's hands around my throat.
And I step in there and freeze him now.
I step in there and freeze him now.
And tap on me lying there.
Tap on me lying there.
In freeze mode.
In freeze mode.
Shocked and traumatised.
Shocked and traumatised.
And I look at him and let him know it's okay.
Look at the me back in time?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You can close your eyes and do this if you want and just keep tapping through the points.
Mm-hmm.
And I let him know I'm him from the future.
I let him know that I'm him from the future.
And I'm here to allow him to feel safe.
I'm here to allow him to feel safe.
Mm-hmm. That he doesn't deserve to have this trauma trapped in his body.
Doesn't deserve to have this trauma trapped in his body.
And I'm here to help him release it.
I'm here to help him release it.
Top of the head, he's not alone.
He's not alone.
Eyebrow, I'm here to help him.
Here to help him.
Tapping on his points, corner of the eye, tapping on his points.
Mm-hmm.
Allowing him to release all that shock and trauma out of his body.
Allowing him to release all the shock and trauma out of his body.
Mm-hmm. Allowing him to shake and tremble.
Allowing him to shake and tremble.
With all the fear that he was going to die.
With all the fear that he was going to die.
As I tap on him, allowing him to release it.
So I tap on him, allowing him to release it.
Letting him know he's safe now.
Letting him know he's safe now.
Allowing him to know I'll protect him.
Allowing him to know I'll protect him.
And that he'll be safe.
And that he'll be safe.
And he is safe.
And he's safe.
So when you tune into him now, ask him how's he feeling.
Like not alone.
Mm-hmm. Good. And ask him what would he like to have happen next.
To be able to fight back.
Mm-hmm. So how would he be able to fight back?
Well, because I was trapped in this sleeping bag, so I need to be able to get out of that sleeping bag for starters.
Okay, so unzip him.
Mm-hmm.
And let him know that you'll be there to back him up if he needs any help.
Mm-hmm.
And then just let him do whatever he needs to do to feel safe and protect himself.
Mm-hmm.
So he doesn't feel helpless or trapped. And just watch what he does. So what's he doing?
Undid the axe handle that was bolted down to the bonnet of the Land Rover and swung it at this guy.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And how's he feeling now? Is he feeling more empowered and in control?
Mm-hmm.
Good. And when he was locked and trapped in that sleeping bag, what was the belief that he took on?
That if he didn't submit to this guy or agree with this guy, that he was basically telling me that I wasn't doing things the way he wanted them done, and that if I didn't just agree and go along with what he said, that it could get a lot worse.
Okay, so I want you to say out loud, I took on this belief.
I took on this belief.
That if I didn't agree, things wouldn't work out well.
If I didn't agree, things were going to get a whole lot worse.
Yeah, I have to agree with people.
Oh, I had to agree with him, yeah.
I had to agree with him.
I had to agree with him.
Or things will get a lot worse.
Things will get a lot worse.
I took on this belief, I have to agree with him.
I took on this belief that I had to agree with him. Just so I could get through that.
Yeah, so I could get through that. Yeah. And I choose to release this belief now.
I choose to release this belief now.
Yeah. keep tapping. Good. Releasing this belief
Releasing this belief
that I had to agree with him.
that I had to agree with him.
Yep, keep going. Releasing this belief
Releasing this belief.
I had to agree with him or things would get a lot worse.
I had to agree with him or things were going to get a lot worse.
Releasing this belief.
Releasing this belief.
Out of my throat, out of my chest.
Out of my throat and out of my chest.
Releasing the remaining shock and trauma.
Releasing the remaining shock and trauma.
Seeing myself grab that, what was it, an axe handle?
Yeah, an axe or a pick handle.
Pick handle. And feeling empowered.
And feeling empowered.
Taking on that empowered feeling.
Taking on that empowered feeling.
I am in control.
I'm in control.
Feeling empowered in this situation with this guy.
Feeling empowered in this situation with this guy.
Letting him know
Letting
that
him
he
know.
has to agree with me.
He has to agree with me.
Feeling that empowered feeling
Feeling that empowered feeling.
as I release any remaining trapped feeling
And release any of the remaining trapped feeling.
of those hands that were around my neck.
Those hands that were around my neck.
Sending my neck and chest that empowered feeling
Sending my neck and chest that empowered feeling.
as I look into his eyes
So I look into his eyes.
and he sees my empowerment.
He sees my empowerment.
Feeling my empowerment in my chest and throat.
Feeling my empowerment in my chest
And my throat.
and my throat.
Releasing any remaining trapped feeling.
Releasing any remaining trapped feeling.
So take a deep breath. So when you tune into now, there's like two pictures. The one of you lying there with hands around the throat, feeling trapped. And there's the picture of you with the axe handle or whatever it was, feeling empowered. Which one has the most energy now?
The empowered one.
Good. So the other one's been able to process and release all that, and now you can feel that empowerment. And when you feel that empowerment in your chest and your throat, what sort of colour is that empowerment?
I don't know if it has a colour, but I don't know, I just feel like my chest is a bit...
Expanded or?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I felt myself...
Yeah, you can
feel a bit
actually
more...
see that empowerment, that strength. It's like control, I'm strong, I'm empowered.
And that he's a coward, like
Yeah.
that he couldn't confront me standing up, that he had to wait till I was all zipped up in my sleeping bag.
Yeah, and see how the cognitive shift has come through, that you're able to think that now that you don't have the energy of it all there. So let's just say that he was such a coward.
He was such a coward.
What a coward.
What a coward.
What a coward that he had to do that to me.
He had to do that to me.
He couldn't even confront me and talk to me.
Couldn't even confront me and talk to me.
He has such weakness in him.
He had such weakness in him.
He must have been afraid to confront me.
He must have been afraid to confront me.
He saw my power.
Maybe.
He was a coward.
He was a coward.
He was afraid to confront me.
He was afraid to confront me.
He was a coward.
He was a coward.
He was afraid to confront
He was
me.
afraid to confront me.
So how does that feel now when you think about that?
Yeah, that's probably true.
Yeah. So when you go back now to, there you were asleep next to the Jeep, and the whole feeling of his hands around your neck, does that bring anything up now?
No, it's kind of like that chapter's been closed, and then the other part to the story was when, like, we got back to the barracks.
Yes.
And then it was pretty soon after, like a day or two, I found out that he'd basically bragged to everyone about it, that he'd like sorted me out.
Okay, let's do that.
Mm-hmm.
So I remember getting back to the barracks. And he was bragging to everyone that he'd sorted me out.
Yeah, I'd found out that he'd been bragging to everyone that he'd sorted me out.
Okay, so how did you find that out?
My usual detachment commander came up to me and said, look, I found out what happened, and I just want to let you know that I've talked to him, and he assures me that it won't happen again. But so then, like, I went, so everybody knows.
Okay, and what's that feeling like in your body when you realise that everybody knows?
Well, it's like shameful.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, so even though I've got this shameful feeling, when I remember my regular detachment person telling me that everyone knew.
Yeah, when I found out that everyone knew.
Mm-hmm. Where do you feel that in your body, that shameful feeling?
Like my legs, because I knew I've got to get out of here. I've got to run.
Yep.
I have to find a way to get out of this place now.
Yep, I have to find a way to get out of this place now.
Yeah, I have to find a way to get out of this place now, and that's what happened. I was able to get transferred out of there pretty soon after.
Mm-hmm. I had to get out of there.
I had to
run.
Had to run.
This shameful feeling trapped in my legs. I accept myself. And all my reactions. And I want to process and release them now. All my reactions. These shameful reactions. I wanted to run. I did run.
And I kept on running for the next 25 years.
I've been running ever since. I've had this shameful feeling trapped in my legs. Everyone knows. I just wanted to get out of there. I've been running ever since. And I want to process and let go of that shameful feeling. That's been trapped in my legs. When I remember hearing that guy tell me.
And I realised everybody knew.
And I realised everyone knew.
And that no one did anything about it.
And no one did anything about it.
Yeah, because that's what was the worst bit.
Yeah, no one stood up for me.
And no one did anything.
No one did anything.
Like it was acceptable to treat people that way.
Yeah, it was accepted to treat people that way.
Mm-hmm.
No one did anything. No one supported me. No one did anything. It was as if it was acceptable to treat someone that way. It wasn't acceptable to me. No wonder I had to get out of there. That just wasn't acceptable to me. And maybe there was a reason for me to get out of there. But I want to release that shameful feeling trapped in my legs. That feeling that's been trapped there ever since. That I have to run and get out of here. Because people don't support me. People might treat me bad. I want to release that shameful feeling. Out of my legs. That feeling that I've got to keep on running. But I've got to get out of here.
I've got to get out of here.
People won't support me.
People won't support me.
It's wrong to treat people like that.
It's wrong to treat people like that.
But they treated me like that.
They treated me like that and no one did anything about it.
No one did anything about it.
Mm-hmm.
This feeling that no one did anything about it.
No one did anything about it.
Take a deep breath. Is there any other time in your life when you felt that no one did anything about it?
Yeah, it was like a time at primary school.
Mm-hmm. Yep. So I want you to start tapping on that.
Mm-hmm.
Keep tapping. Have a drink. My camera keeps shutting off. Is yours still recording?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, so I want you to just go back to the karate chop point. I have this memory at school, primary school.
Got this memory from primary school.
No one did anything about it.
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 I was at primary school.
I was at primary school.
No one did anything about it.
No one did anything about it.
So when you tune into that feeling, no one did anything about it, how old were you at primary school? And where do you feel it in your body?
Maybe I was about 10 years old and feel kind of bruised all over my body. It's like one of those playground scenes where everyone just kind of turned on me in an instant, like it happens in playgrounds sometimes, and everyone started jumping on me.
Yep.
So I had like bruises all over me.
Yep.
And then like the teacher came out and saw what had happened but didn't really do anything about it. Like,
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. So I want you to imagine feeling or being that 10-year-old again. Go back to the karate chop point. Even though I remember being 10.
Even though I remember being 10.
Out in the playground.
Out in the playground.
And then everyone started piling on top of me.
Everyone started taking a running jump on me.
Running and jumping on me. And I can feel that trapped feeling.
Can feel that trapped feeling.
That heaviness of all those bodies jumping on me.
Well, it was just one at a time.
One at a time, yep. People jumping on me.
People jumping on me.
I can still feel it in my body.
Can still feel it in my body.
Them jumping on me one at a time.
Them jumping on me one at a time.
Feeling the heaviness and bruising in my body.
Feeling the heaviness and bruising in my body.
Feeling trapped.
Feeling trapped.
Like there's nothing I can do.
There's nothing I could do because I was being held down.
Yeah, I was being held down. That feeling of being held down.
The feeling of being held down.
Like I was trapped.
Like I was trapped.
Processing and releasing that feeling out of my body.
Processing and releasing that feeling out of my body.
It's been trapped there since I was about 10.
Been trapped there since I was about 10.
That bruised feeling.
That bruised feeling.
That feeling of being held down.
Feeling of being held down.
Like there's nothing I can do about it.
There's nothing I can do about it.
They all turned on me.
They all turned on me.
For no reason, they all turned on me.
For no reason, they all turned on me.
And no one did anything about it.
No one did anything about it.
The teacher came over.
The teacher came over.
But she didn't do anything about it.
She didn't do anything to them. She kind of helped me a bit, but didn't. There was no consequences for anybody.
And how did that feel? There was no consequences for everyone.
Kind of similar to the army thing, but it's like
It was unfair.
Yeah, but it doesn't feel that intense anymore.
Good.
It's like there's no charge on it anymore.
Good.
Like it's just a thing that happened now, but
Yeah, there were so many kids, and what could the teacher do anyhow? And they'd all run off, or it was just a thing that happened. Releasing any remaining feelings trapped in my body.
Releasing any remaining feelings trapped in my body.
But no one did anything about it.
No one did anything about it.
Releasing any shame.
Releasing any shame.
Or anything that it was my fault.
Or anything that it was my fault.
Releasing it all.
Releasing it all.
All the trauma.
All the trauma.
All the shame.
All the shame.
All the disempowerment.
All the disempowerment.
All that trapped feeling.
All that trapped feeling.
Releasing it all and changing it now.
Releasing it all and changing it now.
Going back to that memory.
Going back to that memory.
Having me as my adult self stepping into it.
Having me as my adult self stepping into it.
Before the teacher gets there.
Before the teacher gets there.
Pulling the kids off.
Pulling the kids that are holding me down off.
Yep. And what else?
And telling them that it's cowardly.
Yep. And how would they like to have it done to them? Letting them know it's cowardly.
Letting them know it's cowardly.
And helping that 10-year-old me up.
Helping that 10-year-old me up.
And tapping on him for any remaining trauma. And letting him know that they were so cowardly. And sending him strength and empowerment. Releasing any remaining feeling of being trapped and held down. Then speaking to each of the parents of each of those children that held him down and jumped on him. And speaking to those children and letting them know that's not how to behave. It's not fair and it's cowardly. And letting them know there are consequences. So how does that 10-year-old now feel?
Like vindicated or validated or yeah,
Good.
a whole lot better about it.
Yeah, someone does care, and it is appropriate to have consequences. Good. All right, so take a deep breath. When you think now about that situation, going back to the 10-year-old and to the time in the army, does there seem to be any charge left around any of it? Good. And when you imagine that and feel that strength and empowerment feeling in your chest and your whole body, does that feel good and strong?
Yeah, and like I've still got it. Like I've got it. Like when we did that thing and I got the pick handle, it's like I felt myself sit up straighter. Yeah. And I've still got that now.
Yeah, good. Excellent. So I want you to just send that whole, remember that picture with the pick handle and that strength, and feel that strength, and focus on it and send it to your body and visualize it and feel it as much as possible during the next few days to really anchor it and cement it into your energy. And that creates then more neural pathways and more energetic pathways of the thing that we really want, which is that strength and empowerment. Okay?
Cool.
Good. So that wasn't difficult to get through at all, was it?
No.
And isn't it interesting that, other veterans and anyone with a traumatic memory, no matter how old they are, it can just pop up at any stage and be triggered from something. And then when you had the experience with the psychologist, you thought it's all going to be coming up like that again, and it's something that you really don't want to go to, and you can understand how other people just wouldn't want to go there.
Well, it felt like when I walked out of her office, like a cork had been taken out of a bottle of like something fizzy that had been shaken up, and that it was just all started to come up, and it was just awful. And I was going, I don't know what I can do with this. Like, it was just horrible. And
so it all been opened up, and you weren't able to actually process it. But isn't it so different when you're working with EFT and you're actually able to bring it up gently and not be like re-traumatized by it, and so being able to process it as you're going. And that was, for me, watching you, and I assume from your end it was a very gentle process, and you weren't really traumatized, even though you said the memory was 10 out of 10 at the start. It wasn't horrific because we snuck up on it and we were processing it at the same time.
For sure. And when I talked to that psychologist about it, it was like I was back there when it happened, that same horrible feeling.
Yeah.
And then when I walked out of there, I still had it.
Because she'd opened the trauma capsule for you.
And there was nowhere for it to go, and I was just sitting in it going, I don't know what to do with this.
You can really understand people that are sitting in PTSD every day of their life.
I had that operation on my arm in between now and then, and that was like a welcome relief because I got knocked out for a few hours.
Yeah.
Like I was looking forward to that bit.
Yeah.
Because I was looking for something to knock me out, basically. I wanted something to shut it down.
And so you can really imagine how people with PTSD don't want to even look at other treatments because they just want to be medicated and knocked out, and they don't want to be re-traumatized. However, EFT, in how many ever minutes we did it, was only
55.
A short session. How you can just process it and have that peace and not have to have medication.
Yeah. And
how much cheaper it would be for the whole government to be doing this sort of thing, and to have psychologists that are able to do this.
Yeah, I'm sure they'd feel a whole lot better about it.
Yeah.
Being able to actually help someone.
Yeah. Well, I'm glad we got to help you, and I really appreciate that you wanted to have this filmed so that you could pay it forward, so to speak, because you knew that you would get help through EFT. Being a student of mine and using EFT for yourself and your clients, you knew it would take care of it, and you wanted it to be filmed in order to pay it forward and show others. So, that shows your commitment to others who have PTSD and who you want to help. So, thank you.
Hopefully. Thanks, Jenny.
Yeah, thank you. See ya.
See ya.
Bye.